Hi everyone from Giaco. After living over a decade in Finland, I decided to help building a bridge between the English-speaking people living in Finland and the local community. Listen to my podcast to discover the most interesting and incredible people from Finland and to dig into Finnish culture and controversial issues that impact all of us in our daily life. And now sit back and enjoy listening. Bye! Hi everyone, the following is a conversation with Henri Tuomilehto. Henri is a sleep researcher, doctor and a practitioner. His life is about researching and teaching people how to sleep and what sleep is about. With him we talk about the main pillars of good sleep and how can we all improve our sleeping. This was an interesting chat also because we tackle problems specific to the Nordic countries like light and sun exposure. Henri is an energetic and positive person that inspires to think broadly the balance of life. Please enjoy. Hi Henri.
Hello, Giacomo.
How are you?
I'm very good, very good.
Okay. Thank you. I'm so happy that you are here. Can you tell us who you are so we understand what are we talking about today?
Well, I'm your guest here today,
Yes.
but on my own life, I'm a sleep doctor, so I work with sleep. Yesterday I had an office day, so I'm treating patients with sleep disorders, but also other things, because sleep has a great impact in our life. So I'm doing sleep coaching, and I'm also an author. I wrote a book or two books, and I'm still doing research on sleep too, because it's kind of a newcomer in the field of medicine, the sleep. So there's lots of things to be learned.
How long have you been doing this, and how did you approach it? When did you realize, okay, this is what I want to do?
Well, now afterwards, it would be easy to say that, it was very logical, that it was systematic, my way to sleep. But to be honest, it was just, luck. 22 years ago, I used to be a specialist ear, nose and throat diseases. And I had just got my specialization and also had just, finished my thesis in kind of just before the summertime. And then I got a call from my professor, and he asked me that, well, what are you doing in the summertime? And I said, well, not much. And he said, well, there's a World Sleep Apnea Congress in Helsinki. That would you like to go there? And I said, well, okay, I might go. And at that time, most of the sleep apnea patients they met the ear, nose and throat specialist because, the most common symptom for sleep apnea is snoring. So at that time we thought that, since the voice comes from the mouth, we have to, operate all the things that you can, operate away from the mouth, we just get rid of them.
Yeah.
And like myself, I had been doing surgeries for hundreds of patients. And when I went to the Congress, and there was the first time that we were getting results, long-term results from the surgeries, and the results were terrible. They were, terrible results, and, we did nothing good. We did only harm.
Okay.
So sleep apnea is not a kind of a disease that it's meant to be operated by surgery. There are some patients that you can do that, but not as a mainstream. So what we had been doing is against kind of Hippocrates principles.
Yes.
We did harm to our patients, so I was kind of devastated. And then I returned to my work after the summer holidays, and then quite quickly I noticed that most of my patients who came to see me because of suspicion of sleep apnea, they were obese. Yeah. They had overweight, and then I had a glance in the scientific research, and I quickly noticed that there's no research on that field, that if an obese patient loses weight who has a sleep apnea, what happens after that? So I made a kind of a treatment plan, and then I had no money. I was a young guy and only air in my pockets, and then I was living at that time in Kuopio, and I went to see the professors, and humbly with my hat on my hand and tried to convince them that this is a good idea, and they were excited. So this is a kind of a principle what I'm trying to also do in my life. If somebody's excited about sleep I'm trying to support the person because that's not anything away from me. So it was really so wonderful experience. And then I got the money, enough money to start the research. And in 2009, it was the first study in the world that showed that if an obese patient with sleep apnea loses weight, you can cure sleep apnea. So I got really excited about the research, and then I spent a few years in Canada, in Montreal, to get more knowledge because it was not easy.
Yeah.
And after that, let's say that the rest is history. So the sleep just, grabbed me, and I have been breathing sleep ever since for now 22 years. The sleep has been my life in work-wise, but also, it's a kind of lifestyle, what I've been trying to do. So it's kind of a wonderful story, but, like I said, it was not any kind of a planned thing. It was just, I just...
Yeah, you rolled with the flow, but definitely you had a interest and you found something different and you wanted to discover and connect the dots and find something new.
Yeah, and big decisions. Of course, you have to make big decisions in your life, and I have made big decisions concerning my working life. Like I noticed that in a hospital I cannot do what I want, so I quit my position in a hospital, and then I started my own company and from zero, and took a kind of big risk. But of course, everybody else is also taking risk. But I never regret that. Every morning that I wake up for my work, I'm still smiling. Yeah, I'm having good feeling. So I did the right choice.
Yeah, that should be what everyone finds and aims. So congratulations. I really like, because I think anyway science and medicine has been little by little moving from this hypothesis, thesis, and then solution kind of straight line to a more holistic way. And what you do and what we are talking today, it's about that also, that consider the person as a whole, including all his habits, routines, eating, sleeping. So everything, it goes into like an ecosystem, and it's not like, okay, I have something here, so the cure is this operation, as you said, or the cure is this pill. There is an ecosystem to be taken care of. So I like so much this approach, and that's what I think about myself and my body and myself, like an ecosystem of things going together that result in something. And sleep, it's about that.
Yeah, it is. And many times as medical doctors, we are still we are still too narrow, and we are only seeing the thing that we are interested in, and we still don't see that. That's the big problem still in medicine, that we are too narrow.
Yeah.
And many times I think our patients or people overall, they have a better picture of their well-being than us doctors. So we have lots to learn. So it's not only to cure diseases, but to promote well-being and health. And I think as doctors, we are really in good position doing that. But are we doing it? I'm not sure.
Of course, if you think like the medicine sector and the healthcare sector, of course, like if you have hospitals and you have patients, you have to have like this straight line. You have some disease that shows in some way, so you give a pill, that's it, go by. But definitely we should think about the whole complex and try to tackle why people get sick, or why people don't sleep, or why people get obese, not just give a pill to sleep.
It's true.
So preventive and not just like solving the problem at hand. But,
and you're absolutely right, because also in my opinion, the best way to treat the disease is to prevent it.
Yeah.
So you never have it. So that's, for sure it's the best way. But like I said, are we doing it at the moment? I'm not convinced. I think we are going in the better direction, but we are still far away from that, and we still, at least in the field of medicine, it's still too much disease cure orientated, kind of focus in what we do.
Yeah, and definitely, okay, it's not to take anything away from medicine, because we work with the hardware, like you get you get tense, your amygdala will do always the thing that it does. It will get aroused. You will get the same hormones that they should be. So we have a hardware that works in a predictive way, but then it's always like adjusted and how and why, and then we can twitch it, and then we can think the whole complex of the body, and then think like, okay, how can we fix and address this problem rather than just a pill? But I don't want to take anything against from medicine. We are, we live 100 years possibly, and so it's thanks to medicine also.
Yeah, and I think it's a kind of a coin. On the other side, there's the diseases and things that you need to have a medical approach. That's other side, but the other side is this promotion, and I would really hope that also us, specialists in medicine, doctors, nurses, that we would come also a little bit on the other side, to the promotion side, also from the kind of creative side, and then because most of the, let's say, the best knowledge of medicine, of course, is with professionals.
Yeah.
So I would like that we would come more from to the promotion side, and also we have great researchers in Finland.
Yeah,
really great, but people have never heard them.
Yeah, that's why you're here.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if I'm great, but overall, the problem is that how you produce the message to general public.
Yeah.
And there's
and
so
spread
many.
It. Yeah. And you said this word that it's like on, let's say, on everyone's mouth, well-being. Everyone has a different way of understanding. Then people are thinking about work well-being or self-balance, and anyway, I think we understand that word even in different ways, but we all understand what it means. And well-being provides, and it's a catalyst for other well-being, for mental, physical well-being. So it's kind of like when you start, it expands into a larger ecosystem that it's you in the world, with your relationship, with your body, with yourself. So, and sleeping is a really important part of well-being, and it's something that probably we are getting to understand it more now than before. Can you open up what you think, how the sleeping has been, and thinking about sleeping has been developed, and now why we are here now talking about sleeping hygiene and routines and the importance of it? How did we come from just like 8 hours of sleep, it's enough, from that point that it's a kind of like a blanket for everyone and it misses a lot of parts, to the point in which we cut through little points and it's like routines, lights, temperature, your body, thinking about caffeine, alcohol, and it's also improving our performances during the day. So how we went from that like notion that we all grew up, at least myself, that's like 8 hours is enough. It's kind of like put the charger in the wall, 8 hours is enough, you're good to go, to something much more complex.
Yeah. Well, this is the kind of the funniest part. When I started 22 years ago, nobody was interested in sleep. I wasn't asked for any podcast. Well, we didn't have podcast, but I didn't have any interviews, and it was kind of a joke, because at that time, people were bragging. CEOs of the big companies were bragging about how little they sleep and how much they work. And in my opinion, the toughest guy in the universe, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was giving his keys to success, at how do you succeed in life. And then when he was telling all the stuff that you need to do, somebody asked, well, if I do all those things that you tell me to do, when do I sleep? He paused for a while and said, well, you have to sleep faster. So, and now, I don't know if you have read his latest book of Arnold, and there he tells, repeatedly that, well, to succeed, you have to sleep good and you have to really put, effort in sleeping. So also he has realized that the sleep is very fundamental thing in our life or whatever we do.
There was also I also heard this phrase that like I will sleep when I'm in the grave.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I will have time then.
Yep.
Yeah, but you don't realize that maybe the grave comes closer to you if you don't sleep.
Yeah. But it's a funny thing that, kind of to summarize that we may think now that we have talked a lot about sleep and we know, but actually we have just scratched the surface. We don't know. We know only little. And we still have lots to go because it's maybe a little bit polarized. There are people who really understand how important the sleep is, but the big mass is still, the gray mass is still, doing things that you should not do, and the sleep is still secondary thing in their life, and they don't really understand that, how important the sleep is. Sleep is pure physiology. Without sleep, there's nothing else. So when you understand that, then you start doing something for your sleep, and many times still we talk a lot that I respect my sleep, but when I ask the person what the person is doing, actually he or she is doing nothing, or what the person is doing something that is harmful for the sleep. So there's a big still, when you think about what you say and what you do, there's still
discrepancy differences.
A lot, and that's kind of a challenge still for us, and kind of for me, it's kind of I was just say it triggers me to work even harder.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, the motivation. So let's picture one day, it's your working day at your clinic, and a patient comes in. So how do you approach, and what is the procedure? What you try to find out, so we understand what is important?
Yeah, first of all, it's very important to understand that, there's two sides in the sleep. The one side is that what we do ourselves voluntarily, and that's, once again, that's the biggest part of the human beings belongs to that group. We don't have any major problem with sleep, but we are neglecting the sleep. We are doing something that we neglect the sleep by our own choices. And then the other side is that, sleep becomes a problem. And then we talk about sleep disorders, and there are over 80 different sleep disorders. And like yesterday, one of my patients had 5 sleep disorders at the same time together. Yeah. So 2 different things. And one is, up to you. Another thing is not up to you, and then you need me. And of course, the people who come to see me, usually the story goes that when the door opens, they say, well, I have bought a new bed, I have changed my pillow, I have tried acupuncture, and last week I saw a witch.
I've done it all.
I've done it all, and you are my last hope. So that's where we start. So no pressure. So the stories are really long, and it's funny to no funny. I wouldn't say funny, but I hear it almost with every patient that when I ask you, well, okay, tell me about your story with sleep. What kind of sleep problem you have? It starts like that, and then well, it's so long that I don't know where to start, and I don't know if I don't know if you can help me, because I have been sleeping so bad for so long that maybe you never had this bad patient before.
Yeah.
So, well, I said, well, everything
same
is,
story.
Yeah. But that's how it starts. And but there's some trigger why they come to see me. But first, of course, when they come to see me, we talk about the situation and what kind of problem they have, and how does the bad sleep impact their life, and what I'm really interested is are they motivated to change?
Yeah.
And if there is no motivation for change, then we are just,
Yeah, you cannot force anyone.
Yeah, and then it's useless, And we use the time for nothing.
Yeah, but it would be strange, I think, that someone comes and makes the effort to come until you, but then doesn't really want to change. But maybe it's self.
Yeah, but you have to understand that the human mind is really, really, really interesting.
Yep, I agree.
Whatever thing there may be, pills, whatever thing is there to be taken without you yourself doing nothing.
That's true. That's true.
We are
Passive.
we are interested to take that choice.
The fast choice, yeah.
Always, and it's very interesting our mind at how it works. At and at that certain time, at 1 second time when you make the choice, we most probably like to choose the thing that at that moment feels good or pleasant for us, even though we know that 8 hours later we're gonna feel the impact of the choice.
We all do that.
Yeah. But that's how it goes. And I talk with patients, and the stories are long. And like I said, those people, they have a disorder. So it's a disease. They have kind of a codes for the diseases. And like for heart attack or diabetes, same kind of codes, illness codes are for the sleep disorders. And I need tools. I hear the same story 6 to 8 times a day when I see my patients. I cannot, make a diagnosis from the stories of the patient, because I don't know if you ever thought about this, but when human being sleeps, we are unconscious.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
And now these people, they come to see me in the office and they tell me about their sleeping.
They don't have any trace or remembering.
So how can I, be sure that what they tell me is true? Because I can tell you that the more there's problem with sleep, the more amazing the truth is. They have absolutely, like yesterday I had a patient who we did already sleep test for the patient, and she said that, well, really bad night. I slept only 2.5 hours at that, test night, 6 hours, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So
her experience was...
Yes. Of course, the quality of the sleep was bad. She was waking up all the time. So, but I have to have tools. So most of my patients, they undergo a sleep test.
Yeah.
We we put the electrodes in the head and we start, polysomnography is called a test, and we really look what happens during the physiological aspect of the sleep.
The
and
brain waves.
Brain waves, your breathing, your movement, your heart, and after that, I can really, when I put together the kind of the background, the symptoms of the patient, and then the sleep recording, the result of it, when I put them together, what I tell the patient that I can always promise you that I can tell you the reason for bad sleep. And of course, I feel that's a kind of a good starting point, because it's part of therapy. Then you start knowing that why you have been sleeping bad for 20 years.
Yeah. And then you can find a solution to fix it.
And for me, I want to know what I'm treating, but for me, the most important thing is that I can tell the person the reason for bad sleep. And once you start understanding better, and when we make a treatment plan, you understand why and what we are doing, so you get better commitment. And of course, when you commit better, the chance to succeed increases.
Higher. Yeah. So, what? You wrote a book about the ability of sleeping. So, what I like to understand the title. Of course, it's in Finnish, nukkumisen taito, but so it's something that it's learnable. It's an ability. It's something that you can actually and everyone can do. It's not like rocket science. So can you tell through your experience and then the literature and the studies, like what are the pivot point, the most important point, and the most common mistakes that people do, and what can each of us do to improve their sleeping methods, sleeping time, deepness of sleep? Can you open up and suggest, tell us, instruct us?
Okay, yeah, sure. Sure, and now you take your pillow now and take it easy. I'm not telling you.
No, I'm going to challenge you, or I'm going to,
So I have kind of created 5-step method. And, well, first of all, I have a principle in my work. So before you can cure anything, you have to know what's wrong. Because otherwise, you are just stumbling, blinded in somewhere, and you don't know where to go. You have to know what's wrong. And since we are all different sleepers, we are individual with sleep. we talk about genetics and we talk about internal clock.
Yeah.
And well, that counts about 30 to 40% of the sleep comes from genetic, from inside of you.
Okay.
You may be morning person, night owl, sensitive sleeper. We are all different. And of course, for each of us, we are also different situation in our life.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that. Then, of course, before we can cure anything, you have to know how things normally do happen.
Okay.
Because, like you said, many times I noticed that us human beings, we spoil our sleep by ourselves.
Yeah.
We are doing wrong choices.
Yeah.
And then we wonder, well, why do I sleep bad again? Because once again, in that moment, when you make a choice, some alternative feels better in exactly that moment.
Yeah.
But when you choose that,
the consequences
will be later to be seen.
And those are those things that anyway everyone can do, apply and get to know.
Yes.
Even home, they listen to the podcast, they say, okay, I didn't notice that I was doing this. So there are things that are common, and then there is genetic and personal differences, and those people have to make maybe more effort or discuss with someone like you or read your book so that they understand better, like where do I belong to in the spectrum of these differences. But there are things that apply kind of like commonly to everyone.
Yes.
One thing, by the way, I found it in your story, and it came back to this when I talked, saying that like they should come to you. It's funny that this person that have like real serious diseases, they take you, that specialized doctor, as the last resource.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I have a problem with my tooth, and then and I go, I go first to
Acupuncture.
Yes, and then I go to massage.
Yeah.
And then I wonder like, why it's not working? And I don't go to the professional.
Yeah.
But probably because it's not that common yet, your
And
job.
you buy your 10,000 euro bed.
Yes.
And then you think that, can I afford to go to see me?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would buy a new toothbrush. I would change the toothpaste, but I would not think like, okay, I have to go see a dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like we are newcomer, and but I think most of the time people don't still understand that you can improve your sleep no matter what. So many times people just they give up. I'm like this.
Yeah. I've always been like this. Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, and or even though they are not doing fine, they just think I'm like this and nobody can help me. And they always say that, well, I tried everything. Well, they haven't.
Yeah.
But, I'm still a pro in that.
Yeah.
So I always and maybe they have done, but they have done for 5 days. Because in today's society, as human beings, we are really, really impatient.
Yeah, we want results immediately.
Immediately. And when I ask you, how long did you have problem with your sleep? Well, 14 years. And well, in 5 days, we didn't cure them. So that's us.
Yeah.
But to your question, still, so first is the increase in awareness. So we have to know where does the sleep come from, physiological aspects. And there's two things that apply to our sleep, and one is circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
And what you can do with circadian rhythm is, it comes from what time you wake up and what time you go to bed.
Yeah, the rhythm is like the amount of time you are awake and the amount of time you are at sleep.
Exactly.
So that rhythm, it's the circadian rhythm.
And if you don't do shift work or you don't travel overseas all the time, then you have the rhythm of wherever you live. And there are two things you can do with the rhythm. Wake up, going to bed. But another aspect of sleep, physiologically, that provides us sleep is a little bit more interesting, and that's called sleep pressure. And it's a physiological phenomenon. The longer you stay awake, the more sleep pressure you will gain in your brain, and the more sleep pressure you have in your brain, the better you sleep. And this is something that people don't. One of my patients told me that, well, it doesn't work for me. Well, even though I'm really tired, I don't fall asleep. It's not true. As long as we are human beings, we have the same physiology. There are no exceptions. So if I take any person and I don't let that person to sleep for 2 days, not 1 second in 2 days, and then I will put the person in a warm shower, offer a nice plate of pasta, isn't pasta, and then I will place this person in a dark room, cool room, and I will come to see 30 minutes later, the person will sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
But some of us, we don't tolerate the feeling of not sleeping, or we don't tolerate the feeling of tiredness, and we start doing the shortcuts.
So the pressure is kind of like the need.
Yep.
Your brain has a physiological need.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like for myself, I'm a human being too, and sometimes I wake up and sometimes I don't fall asleep again. So my plan B is I found the audio books, I listen to the books, and 10 minutes, sometimes 2-3 hours, and I don't feel bad about that. I'm okay. I know that if I stay awake 3 hours in the morning, I will feel a little bit tired, but I will survive my day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I smile because I know that I had a so bad night that I have so much sleep pressure in my back pocket that some of the upcoming nights will be wonderful. That's how it goes. Our brain will activate. When you sleep bad, it activates our brain, and how it activates, the brain starts compensating. You will sleep better in upcoming night. Is it the next night? Maybe not, but then you have even more sleep pressure. But you have to tolerate and you have to understand the concept of sleep pressure. And once you do that, then most likely you are the winner, because then you don't get any negative things from the sleep, but you always trust that it will come, and it will come if you don't do the shortcuts.
Yeah, because it's cumulative. So it's adding up, and then you trust the biology of your body that I will shut off when it's needed.
Yeah, and that will happen sooner or later, but you have to trust that it will come and not get anxious.
Yeah, because otherwise you go to sleep with that kind of like feeling, that restless feeling.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Because I want to go back to the point one, the circadian rhythm, because of course it's like the waking up time and the sleeping time. So is there something there that we can all apply to each and think about? Also because I've been reading and it's a topic that I'm fascinated about myself, but we live also in Finland, and here the sun and the way the sun rhythm is. When I read literature or I listen to stuff, it's always like from America and other stuff. Of course, there is also time zones and differences, but as a foreigner, I came to this country, and I'm not biologically, I believe this, or genetically imprinted to stand this kind of weather or the circadian rhythm. And maybe it's just like my own perception, but the fact that the sun goes down and I see the sun so little during the winter, it has a deep effect on me. So I wonder, like, what is what do you suggest as an expert of sleeping when you consider the literature about how many hours it's good to be awake and when you should go to sleep and how you should take care of your rhythm, and then you fit it into this country or in the Nordic country, where anyway you have exposure to sunlight, and that triggers in your brain the melatonin. So the circadian rhythm, it's given by that, and we just don't get it.
I know exactly. I don't know who is meant to be here in this country. So I have the same feeling, and I'm original Finn. So we have great challenge with our weather, and of course the
light.
With the light, yeah. In wintertime we have not light at all, and in the summertime we could sell it to all over the world. We have so much light, and it's funny to see that some of the patients, they have big problems in fall, but then there are some people who have problems in spring. So that shows us how individual we are, and just as long as we go through this light thing first, and I was last week I was participating in World Sleep Forum. There were 30 experts around the world, and we were talking about sleep, and also talking about that how we should promote the sleep to public. And some of the experts were saying that we should include the light in those things that we promote, and I was really against it. I understand light is important, but what can you do here?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they thought, well, how many? You are not that many in Finland and Sweden. So
let's forget about those.
Yeah. And I said, well, we are everything that we discuss. We are worried about how things are in India or Africa. And now I say that we don't have light in North, and now you want
Vikings.
to skip it.
What about them?
Yeah. So it's a funny thing, but if we think about the light, it has impact. And I would say that, especially in the fall time, if you feel that your kind of mood or everything that is a little bit, stickier and you are not feeling that good, and like myself, I'm like that. And I would recommend this is the right time to start the light therapy.
Yeah.
In the morning, like myself, I eat my breakfast, with light, bright light, and before 10 o'clock, 30 minutes in bright light. And for me, it's time that I eat my breakfast. I'm there, and it's during this really dark time of the year, and it helps me, and because I really feel that the light time of the year, I'm more energetic.
Yeah, but the light can be whatever light, or because sunlight, it triggers the melatonin production.
Yeah, but we don't have the sunlight. That's the problem, and that's right. I try to tell the guy from Australia. He was excited that we have to have the lights. I said, well, you have it in Australia, but in Finland we don't have it. So I want to give kind of things to people that are doable.
Yeah, tools that they can work with.
We can do.
But do you suggest this kind of, because there are lights that produce a certain kind of frequency of...
bright light.
Bright light.
Bright light therapy, and sleep is a business. A lot of things are solved by sleep, but what we have to always go back that what we have kind of scientific proof, and we have scientific proof from the bright light. If it helps in your mood, so if you feel kind of in Finland we call it kaamosoireilu, kind of relates to the fall time. You a little bit feel depressive, and the sleep you don't feel good in sleeping. That's the population that may get benefit. Do all people get benefit? Of course not. But once again, it's an individual thing. And nowadays they are affordable, those bright lights, and even you don't have to hide it. They look quite nice, so it can be there when somebody comes to you.
Design object.
Yeah. So I would recommend it if you feel that in a fall time you're a little bit low mooded and you sleep a little bad. Then you just stick it every morning. Eat your breakfast with bright light, and when the spring comes and the light comes, then you throw it away or put it in.
Not throw it away.
Put it back.
Put it in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And so, what is the rhythm that the waking time and the sleep time? Is there a balance between the two that people should try to follow?
Excellent question, and because that's it. That's the number one thing. Yeah. Now, there's only one thing what we can do that supports our circadian rhythm and also sleep pressure. There's only one thing, and that's early, frequent wake-up time. Okay. So we always talk about what time I go to bed. I'm not interested what time you go to bed. It doesn't really... I don't care. I'm more interested what time you wake up. Because the wake-up time, it creates your circadian rhythm. And once again, if you remember the definition of sleep pressure, the longer you stay awake, the more pressure you have, the better you sleep. So if you wake up early enough, in the night time, you have lots of sleep pressure and you have a possibility. This is, we don't talk about luck. This is not luck, but it's making it, possibilities. Does it always, succeed? Of course not. But, good sleep is not about luck. It's skill. Yeah. How you work it out, and that's like for myself, I'm a very strong night owl, and for myself, perhaps one of the biggest things that changed my life over 20 years ago in every way, as an individual, as a human being, as a worker, was that I realized that I'm a night owl, and at that time I was really feeding from the hand my night owl. My night owl wants me to sleep long, wants me to stay awake. And what happens during the daytime? I'm not easy guy to approach. Yeah. I'm in a bad mood. I'm a little bit, and I might get an illusion that I'm, very effective, but in reality, I don't get anything done. And only time of the day that I get something done is at night. And then I get kind of feeling that, this is the best time for me to do my work and stuff like that. But it's created by myself. Yeah. I eat myself, I cause it. So now the early wake up time, and I see this in my work all the time, that people wake up 7 o'clock during the weekdays, and when the weekend comes, they wake up 10 o'clock. And they don't realize that at the same time that they wake up 10 o'clock, their circadian rhythm will go forward 3 hours.
Yeah.
And in the evening, when the clock is 11, the brain is still at 8, so there is no sleep pressure.
Yeah.
And you continue with that, you gain sleep deprivation because the sleep is of bad quality, because when you are sleeping, your brain is still 3 hours behind.
Yeah.
The quality is bad, and even though you sleep 8 hours, you wake up tired and you gain sleep deprivation, so you don't have problem falling asleep. You fall asleep, but your brain is still working.
Yeah.
And many times people don't understand that. So I made my life very easy. So I have a kind of a constant, in principle, in general, I have the same time when 7:30 is my kind of back. I have 7:30. I have my alarm clock every morning there, and I never sleep. No, I'll never. But in most of the time, I never sleep longer than that. And my life is very easy. Only thing that varies after that is the time when I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I don't go to bed before I'm tired. I don't never look at the watch. It's 10 o'clock, I have to go.
Yeah, okay.
How can you look it from the watch?
Yeah. I thought kind of like that keep that kind of rhythm, like in the both ends.
Yeah.
The beginning at the end of the day, it's kind of like good.
Yeah.
But actually you just have to get the pressure, the need for sleep.
Yeah.
And then you just accept it and go to sleep.
Yeah, and it's so easy because most of the time the problems come when people start performing the sleep. And if you have maybe read my article from Ilta-Sanomat that we need to sleep 8 hours, and then you start pushing for it, 8 hours. So if I wake up 7 o'clock, I have to be at bed 10 o'clock because it takes time for me to fall asleep. And then you go to bed 10 o'clock and you don't feel sleepy at all, and it might go
I've done that.
Yeah, 12 o'clock, and then you get anxious. Well, I'm not now. It's 12 o'clock. I am not still in sleep, and I have to wake up 7. So that's kind of we don't want to go there.
Yeah. And also we have like the health apps and this and that. They say like, okay, you slept 8 hours and 45 minutes yesterday. Well done. But it doesn't take in consideration all this. Like, when did you go to sleep and what kind of sleep did you have?
Yeah.
So I've done that, and I try to aim the goal. It's like at least 8 hours per sleep per night. So I have to go to bed at that time. Otherwise, I don't get the hours. But it's not actually beneficial.
Trust yourself. We have forgotten self-knowledge. Everything must be measured nowadays. I don't have any measurements. I know myself in the morning if I slept good or bad. I don't need any device to tell me about that. I'm learned myself to, because I know that my risk factor for sleep is the even night owl. I'm very strong evening person, so that's my risk factor. So I know what to do during the daytime, and in the evening I sure know what not to do, not to activate myself. And when very simple things, not many, not complicated things, very simple things. And number one is the wake up time, and then of course to understand that there is no sleeping time. Every night is a different, and every night the need for sleep is a different. Monday night I slept, somehow I didn't fall asleep. I was staying awake until maybe 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I went to bed, maybe 1:30 I fall asleep, and 7:30 I woke up. I slept 6 hours, and I know that my media average sleep should be around 8. I know that.
Yeah.
So next night I slept 9.5 hours.
Yeah. You compensate.
Yeah, of course, if I let it happen.
Let's go back to the Finland and being here, because when you see listen to your body, your body knows and you feel like, okay, now you rested or not. Well, when it comes November, middle of November, and it's 5 o'clock, if I listen to my body, I'm ready to go under the sheet and sleep.
Yeah.
So I rather not listen to my body. So that's also sometimes I wanted to keep up a routine and a rhythm, just because I think something biological inside me is just shifted, or it's lying to me, and the sun and all that, it's affecting me. I really believe in that way.
Yeah.
So it's okay to listen to how you feel, but some sort of at least you suggested in the morning there should be constancy, always wake up at the same times and give yourself time to get tired.
Yeah.
Is it that if people don't feel like they are tired, or should they do more things during the day to get tired? Physical activities, or because we all notice that if we have an intense day working or also actively physically, then you have a different pressure, you have a different need. So can we trick our body to achieve that kind of tiredness and pressure?
Yeah, we don't need to trick it. And many times the kind of the sleep is, how should I say it,
Natural?
yeah, it's kind of not clear, it's kind of a blurry. It's kind of a soap. You try to read and you don't get it, and you know there's no sense in sleep, and if you have problem with sleep, it comes even more blurry.
Yeah,
you have no idea anymore, and then you start thinking that was there a full moon, or did I put wrong socks in my feet, or kind of this, because that's how people think.
And you go to the witch doctor.
Yeah, you go to witch doctor, and but sleep consists of 4 dimensions. Number 1, rhythm. And now we went through the rhythm.
Yeah.
Number 2 is fluency. It's kind of a quality of sleep, and main thing in fluency dimension is that to recognize if you are a sensitive sleeper. Very important to understand. If you are a sensitive sleeper, like even small things bother your sleep, it's very important to understand, because it's also an ability.
Okay.
And then it explains the behavior of your sleep. It varies a lot. Good nights, bad nights, and then the last thing that you want to do is start speculating or analyzing why did I sleep bad again? Because most of the time there is no reason. It belongs to you. It's because of you a sensitive sleeper. It just happens. Your brain is a little bit hyperactive, and that disturbs your sleep. It's very important to understand that. The number 3 dimension is alertness. And what that means is that many times we think that, and that when I sleep good, I'm energetic in the daytime.
Yes.
On contrary, I think that when I'm energetic in the daytime, I sleep good. So there's only one thing what I do in the evening for my sleep. Everything is done during the daytime. So actually, the good sleep starts from the morning, and you build it up with your own choices and with your own actions during the daytime. And that's how it happens. Like I said, good sleep is not, luck. It's, created by your own choices. It's about probability. It's a skill.
Okay.
So I have the constant wake-up time. And the only thing that I think during the daytime that I want to be energetic. I want to be, I want to be energetic guy. And I want to be, high level of that. And everything that I do during the daytime aims to that. I eat in a frequent rhythm every 3 hours. I eat something. I'm not doing physical work, so for me it can be I eat good breakfast, lunch, but then I eat in the afternoon. I eat snack banana, and I will go with that for 1 to 2 hours. So I keep up the good energy level, and I have noticed that in afternoons after my work, I easily get a drop in my alertness, and I hate it. So I always, after the work, I go to do something.
Yeah.
And if I feel good, I go to gym to do exercise. If I feel very tired and I have slept bad, I have understood that, I'm not aiming for Olympics.
Yes.
I'm aiming for good well-being. So I put on my shoes, I go for a walk.
Yes.
And like when you watch outside now, it's raining, and I don't feel like to go. But when I go, it takes only one minute for me to feel fresh again, and once again I push my tiredness towards the evening.
Yeah.
So that's the way kind of how you can handle kind of promote your alertness during the daytime.
Yeah.
We are still daytime animals. We should be active in the daytime, and nighttime is for sleep and recovery. So if you notice that you have really big drops let's say in 5 o'clock, then I always ask them that let's go back. What happens before 5 o'clock? Well, they said, well, I go on the couch. I go on the sofa. Well, I said, well, what happens before you go on the sofa? Well, I eat. You're from Italy.
Yeah.
So do you find funny the eating rhythm in Finland? Do you find funny that our dinner is 4 to 5 o'clock?
That's That's why I don't do that.
Yeah.
I kept my own Italian schedule.
Yeah. And the point is that the worst time with our alertness for everybody is afternoon. It's physiological thing. When you look at the car accident, when they happen, it's the middle of the night and afternoons.
Yeah.
We are not there, you know. It's
We're not alert.
Yeah, we are not alert in the afternoon. It's a physiological phenomenon.
Yeah.
And and another thing is that in the afternoon we have been awake already for many hours, so we also have sleep pressure.
Yes.
And what Finnish people do, we eat a heavy meal,
Yeah.
4 to 5. So drop,
Big drop.
but always when it's drop, there's a race.
Yeah.
And for me, since I'm a night owl, if I would eat my dinner 4 to 5 o'clock, I would be at my best 7 to 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah,
And
ready
I
to
don't want to
work.
be my best at 8 o'clock. I want to cool down.
Yeah.
So
you follow also the Italian
Yes.
or Southern Europe.
yep. So
Yeah, really.
the only thing I do for my sleep is I have a dinner 8:30, 9 o'clock. I eat.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And we have to understand that, you know, at all the sleep pills, sleep medications in the world, they are sedatives.
Yeah.
So they make you tired. They don't correct any
Malfunction.
yes in your brain. They don't create a new network in your brain. They make you tired. And that way they promote the sleep. They make falling asleep easier, and they make your sleep deeper.
Yeah.
So I ask you, once you eat, what kind of feeling you get after eating?
Relaxed and normally, not always, but as you said, cool down. I feel this cooling down.
Yeah, bit tired.
Yeah, but there is the rumor or the saying that like it's not good to go to sleep after eating a big dinner.
Yeah.
Or with their tummy full.
Yeah. But the thing is that, you know, it has nothing to do with that. And most of the time when that happens is that the person has eaten lunch 12 o'clock and the next meal is at 8.
Yeah.
8 hours. And what happens after that? You are starved.
Yeah.
And then you eat too much. I know it for myself. I see nightmares if I eat too much in the evening.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
In the morning I say, I ate too much. So you have to have, like, many times the Finnish people, they eat their dinner from 4 to 6, and they have an evening snack. I change it around. My evening snack is around 4 to 6. When I finish my work, I eat the evening snack. Kind of. I give myself energy enough to go to gym, or enough to go for a walk, and it doesn't make me tired, but enough energy to do something. And then my dinner is late in the evening. So if I skip the snack, then I'm in trouble in the evening. Then I'm really hungry, and then I have to eat very slowly, not to eat too much. But if I have this, you know, snack between 5 to 6 o'clock, I'm a little bit hungry in the evening, but I don't need to, you know, to eat everything in the fridge. So just enough you to make myself tired.
And then I always anyway sleep. I eat as you said around 8:30, and then 2 hour and a half after I approach the bed. So like it's not that my tummy is full at that moment. I had time to digest and to get kind of like all the heaviest stuff like gone. So I don't have problems falling asleep or seeing nightmare unless I film myself. But the fact that you should not eat too much before going to sleep doesn't really make sense unless you consider the whole day and how have you been nurturing yourself and how much nutrition you got during the whole day.
Yeah, that's
again
important.
Complex.
It's entirety. You have the whole day.
Yeah.
It's about the whole day how you eat, and many times we think that if I eat late, I will gain weight. There is no scientific evidence at all that evening eating will make you gain weight. It's the whole day, the energy levels. And for myself, like I eat late and I promote my tiredness because I'm an evening person. So for myself, the problem is that I don't recognize the tiredness easily.
Yeah.
So now when I eat late, I have seen that for me, there opens a new window. It used to be 1 o'clock. Now it opens between 10 to 11 that I start feeling tired. And I know that that's the time that I had to hit the sack and then I go. And if I had a really bad night, the previous night, and I eat, the tiredness may become already 20 to 30 minutes after I have eaten.
Yeah.
So I use that kind of to promote my tiredness, and I go to bed once I feel tired after eating. So the best and easiest way to promote sleep is to eat. And why it is easy? So do you like food?
Oh yeah.
I love food. So as human beings, we don't do anything that we don't like. But if there's something that you like most of us, we like food. Most of us like eating. Yeah. So then there is a chance that we can make a lifestyle habit.
True. And what is the fourth pillar?
And the fourth one is lifestyle. And lifestyle means that we have, believe it or not, we have forgotten the principles. We don't move. Well, we have read it from the newspaper that we are moving less than ever before. Yeah. And I don't mean hard exercise. I mean move. Yeah. Walking, because there's more and more scientific evidence coming that, it's a small acts. I mean that the small things that you do every day something, you walk every day, they are better than, doing hard exercise 2 times a week. Yeah. So move. Frequent eating. I had a patient yesterday that, I looked at weekdays. He's working remotely. Yeah. And he wakes up 9 o'clock. And I said, what time do you start work? 9 o'clock. Yeah. So straight from bed, he goes to computer. No breakfast. First meal for him is lunch. And he's trying also to lose weight. So he's eating little later. And his sleep is terrible. Okay. And he's really tired. So
don't you think that, now I'm saying this as a personal comment, because I do intermittent fasting and doing it for 6 years. Yeah. So I always keep breakfast, and I'm always I'm fasting for 16 hours every day. Yeah. So I don't sign to that kind of situation because I feel really, really good. Yeah. And since I've done it, I always feel really good. And the time in which I'm most energetic and brain functioning is actually when I'm fasting. Yeah. But when you said this example, my understanding is that our cortisol in the morning goes up, our amygdala wakes up, and it's part of the process why we wake up and we are alert. But he wakes up and immediately snapping to the computer, high level of that. And so it's kind of like a stress life. So I think there is much more than just nutrition there. There is also the kind of stress he pushes on himself.
Yeah, for sure. And everything is individual. There's not one thing that applies to all of us. And but when you are not doing well, I always ask the patient a question. So if you don't change anything, what changes?
Nothing. Yeah.
So for you, if you're doing well, good for you, and then I'm very happy and keep on doing it because you found a kind of lifestyle. Yeah. Lifestyle, what you do, and it promotes your doing, because we're all different. But in the situation that when you're far from doing good, then you have to challenge yourself that how do I change the thing? And for the example, for the cortisol, we have to always remember that all the hormones or our nervous system is run by our brain. So what it happens is that our brain function will kind of raise towards the morning. Our sleep becomes more and more superficial, and our brain is getting for the morning. And of course, when our brain is getting ready for the morning, our cortisol level is raising, and our autonomic system, sympathetic nervous system is getting more active. Yeah, but it comes from the brain. And that's why, example, people who have problem with sleep, it can be that the cortisol levels are very low in the morning and they raise in the wrong time, or they are very high in the middle of the night. And we may easily think that it's because of cortisol. But the cortisol is just a consequence of your active brain.
Yeah, yeah. And is that part probably of the second pillar that you were saying, that you might have this kind of light sleep or get distracted or interrupted? Is part of that also how your brain functions and the activity inside it? So if someone has this alert state during the night also, because cortisol is high, they might have this waking up and the sleep is not resting. how can someone understand whether you can do something about it, or you just have to accept it like, okay, I'm a light sleeper?
Yeah. And now we are very close to the truth now. And of course, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you don't know
The reason.
the reason. It can be sleep apnea. So you have a kind of a pause in breathing and you have no oxygen. Or it can be rested legs. So your legs are moving and you wake up. But most of the time, the reason is hyperactive brain function. And that means that usually happens to people who are sensitive sleepers. So the brain is, in the beginning, usually they have difficulty in falling asleep. The brain is, storming and the thoughts are coming and they cannot stop, thinking, and it's very hard to fall asleep. But when that continues long enough, you start gaining sleep deprivation because the quality of sleep is getting bad. So falling asleep suddenly is not a problem. You fall asleep like that. But the problem didn't go away. So what we see in the sleep studies is that the person is sleeping, but the brain not. So the brain is still really going, hyperactive, and we can see there's a lot of alpha activity in the EEG, and the quality of sleep is bad. And once we sleep, because in the beginning of the night, we sleep to deep sleep. 3, 4, 5 hours in the beginning of the night, there is a deep sleep. So once we sleep the deep sleep off, the sleep becomes a little bit lighter. And once it comes lighter, the truth comes. So you start waking up. But actually, you never were that deep. You were always, just waiting for there to come out.
Yeah. Can you open up these phases of the sleep? Because there is the rapid eye movement, the REM. But anyway, there are different phases, and sometimes they are misunderstood. Like, what is the deep sleep? What is the REM? Or the other phases? Can you open it a bit up so we get to understand better also this
so 4 phases,
basic way how it should work?
Yeah, 4 phases. There's light sleep, moderate sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. And they go into cycles, or they should go into cycles. In my work with my patient, I never see any cycles. It's a mess.
Okay. Yes.
And it's also important for the patient. There's 2 things that are important to understand, but for each of us who are still functional, still able to work or function, it's always good enough sleep. So many times, human beings who sleep good, they overestimate their sleep. But then, on the other hand, people who have difficulty with sleep, they always underestimate.
It's much worse than what they can see.
No, it's better than they think.
Okay.
Yeah, they always think it's so bad that you never had this bad patient. I said, everything is relative. So it's important to understand that's why we do the example of sleep studies, or why it's important to identify your sleep. At how are you able to function during the daytime? If you are able to function during the daytime, there must be something good in your sleep. Because I have seen, a lot of patients, and when the sleep gets absolutely broken, we are not anymore in this society. People are not coping anymore. Then you are in the hospital.
Yeah.
When it really, but most of us, most of my patients are still functioning. So I understand there's good things, and to make you understand that being negative with the sleep, it doesn't promote anything. So even though there's difficulties with the sleep, it's good to understand that the situation that you are in, it's never permanent.
Yeah,
it always gets better.
Yeah.
At how long it takes and where does it go, we don't know yet. But people who have problem with sleep are too negative with the sleep. And I understand, of course, they have problem. But one of the problem is that they are so negative that they.
Yeah, it's difficult to understand also as a topic because maybe you don't know, you don't have knowledge about it. So you think just like it's just a problem, but actually there are different things, and some it's good, some it's not.
Yeah, so and there's always something you can do, and you have to understand that being negative with the sleep, it can be even a cause for the thing to be, longer.
Like it becomes chronic.
Yes. One example. Many people who have problem with the sleep, they don't have phone in bedroom.
Yeah.
Because they say that, well, I tend to look at the watch. So it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and they say, I have no.
Yeah, I
have only 2 hours left. I have to wake up 7 o'clock. Only 2 hours. I have my phone in the bedroom, and well, sometimes I wake up. I look at the watch, and it's 5 o'clock. I cheer. I still have 2 hours. to sleep. So it's very how you take it out. But how do you in Finland we have that saying that is your class full
Half
empty
full,
or half empty or half full, and my class is always half full with sleep because that promotes being positive.
Yeah, you're also so knowledgeable, so you understand what you can do and you see the big picture. Today, screwed. Today I will try to get more sleep pressure. Tomorrow I will sleep more. 2 days, it's the same value. It's good. So you also have different kind of approach, of course, being technical. But sleep is really important. You were saying that if any one of us that it's capable of being in this society and moving around and doing stuff during the day, they might have some problems, but it's not that negative. Anyway, if we don't sleep, we can even die. Or get hallucinations, and so so why do we sleep? Why, as a biological entity, do we sleep? What is sleep for us? We call it about like charging batteries, but what's more behind that?
Well, we don't know actually. What's the? We only know that without sleep you won't survive,
Like, for example, my understanding is that like our brain goes through all the day happening and activities, and in different phases. Like, was it in REM phases? It's like 4 times faster. That's why our eyes move that fast. So all the happenings of the day, they're just like a film. They just like run through our head 4 times faster. And then there is the deep sleep. Was it so that our day happenings and activities, they actually are slowed down? So it's kind of like our brain is digesting. And then our memories are moving from the frontal cortex and the short memory to the permanent memory. So there is a lot of things biologically happening in our brain that they are functional for us being here.
Yeah.
And we need those as like your Windows computer, it's restarting and updating. You just have to do it.
Yeah, and in medicine, and research is so much easier to study the consequences. And example, good sleep or poor sleep, because you get very easily data. The physiological stuff in this aspect of sleep, but in any aspect, breathing or anything, it's more complicated. We go with theories. Yeah. We have a theory, but can we be sure? Because you cannot go in the brain and watch what's happening there. We only have theories.
Yeah.
How things happen, and what with sleep, there's a lot. I mean, a lot that we don't know still, and we have to understand that there's still a lot that we don't know.
What is your understanding of dreaming? Why we are dreaming, and is there a biological function? And what is the brain like? Why do we dream? And why do we have nightmares?
Yeah. Well, nightmare is easy because nightmare is a sleep disorder. It belongs to the group of parasomnias. Same as sleepwalking, sleep talking, sleep eating. And there's nightmares or night terror for little children. They are parasomnias. They are abnormal things. But for dreaming, well, then we go more to psychological stuff, and it's kind of outside of medicine. I'm kind of a hardcore Jose medicine representative, so I'm very bad. I'm the wrong person to take any opinion, to give any opinion of dreaming, because it's more I have noticed that whoever can start analyzing your dreams, and you can make stories what it means. Yeah. But are there any facts?
Yeah,
no.
I understand.
So that's why I try to a little bit,
But if a client comes with, because some people have sleep disorder, they sleep bad because of permanent recurring nightmares or this situation of like terror or stuff. So do you address in your therapy and in your model, or is it something that, how do you consider that factor?
Yeah, it's a kind of a parasomnia. You have to understand, it's a sleep disorder. Most of them, we have them as a childhood. When we are children, we have them. But for most of them, it goes away when we become adults.
Yeah.
But now you have to understand that if you sleepwalk or sleep talk and you, example, go on a business trips, you have to share a hotel room with your colleague. And you will know in the morning when you go and have a breakfast, that's what you're going to hear at you while you were talking again. So it gets annoying. So they come to see me that, it's really annoying that, I cannot go anywhere or, everybody tells me about this. And you have to understand that the parasomnia is an ability again. For some people, they have it inside them. Kind of the ability for the parasomnia to come alive.
Okay.
But I always say that I'm not worried about the parasomnia because even though they are kind of annoying, they are harmless. As long as you don't, do get any accidents from the sleepwalking or something like that. But usually they are harmless. But I'm interested in, because the main reason that the parasomnias occur is sleep deprivation. So I'm interested in where does the sleep deprivation come from? Does it come from the behavior of the person? Do you neglect the sleep? Do you sleep too little, or do you do some things in the evening that the quality of the sleep is bad? So they come always when you are tired. The opportunities. So when you are doing bad, then they occur. If you stay awake, you wake late, or if you are stressed, they come. Or there could be another sleep disorder behind them. There could be some sort of sleep apnea. And since you have sleep apnea, you get sleep deprivation. Since you get sleep deprivation, you get these parasomnias. So we have to always find. So it's kind of I like this because it's kind of like a detective work.
So you think it's rather like a consequence of some other problem.
And of course I tell the patient that you probably never get rid of it. So it's kind of a marker when you're doing bad. You get these parasomnia attacks. But on the other hand, it also tells you how you're doing. If you're doing fine, you don't get them. And if you have a lot of them, then you know that, okay, now I have to do something. My life, for example, too stressful, and I have to skip something that I'm doing better. So I always try to find also the positive thing that it could work as a marker for you that how your life is doing in the follow up.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because sleeping fascinates me because it is complex, but there is a lot of things as we're talking about, like routines and active action we can do to influence it. But it's composed of many parts that have they come out as a consequence. But you have to start to think as a detective backward what is happening and why is happening. How much do you consider like the stressful life that people live and the pressure they have during the day as a consequence of their sleeping? Because how do you help the people when you just say now that like you are stressed or you have something, so that's why you have sleeping apnea and that's why you are seeing nightmares? I guess you are not a psychologist, and so you're not saying to them like think about your life or think about your job, or are you happy, satisfied in life, or should you change your life? But we were talking about life, like well-being and this all like lifestyle. So how do you support people in that part of like their daily activity and their wake up time? It's important and it's affecting the sleeping time.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a doctor, but I have to go through that because the actual reason that we talk about sleep is so much the lives have changed. Think about the last 15, 20 years. I was last week, the week before, I was giving a lecture in IT company. And when I told in aloud that the life has changed over the 20 years, my audience was about the very early 30s. So I realized they have no idea how the life has changed. But wherever I go to give lectures, I always get kind of a message when I ask that, mikä meininki? How are you doing? What's the feeling of the work life? Hectic, disruptions, always available. Rapid changes in the work. So wherever I go. When I ask about their free time, same stuff. So what we have done ourselves is that we have, taking the same stuff to our free time. It's, you're always available. You have this, phones, it's everywhere. Yesterday there's a school just close to me, and I was driving by the school. There was a young girl going over the walk, and she has a phone, was just looking at the phone, and in the middle of the, of the walk, she stopped. She got the message.
She was crossing the road.
Yeah, crossing the road.
Yes.
So I had to give a horn, and then she, kind of realized that, she stopped. And later on the day, I went to gym, and the guys and girls, they are just lying in the machine, and they are
watching the phone.
Well, maybe in Insta or something, and they don't realize that once they're doing it, 10 minutes go like that. 10 minutes. When I go to train, I take 45 minutes, 1 hour, and those guys, they are 2 hours there.
Yeah,
Why? Because of their phone.
Yeah.
And I realized a long time ago that one thing that I cannot get more is my time. So I'm very jealous of my time. And do I want to spend my time in the gym spending in Insta? No. Of course, I understand that it's important to do that if you want to do it in your life, do it. But you have to think that when you do it, organize your day. So, yeah, that's funny how we are as human beings. That we don't really understand that the burden of life has increased.
Yes,
it's the tempo of life is absolutely different now than 20 years ago. So, and where does the well-being come from? It comes from the balance between burden and recovery.
Yeah.
And now the burden has increased.
So we need more recovery.
We need more recovery. And what have we done?
Yeah.
We're sleeping less.
Because we take away the time for recovery and because we gave it to Instagram and other stuff.
Yeah. So actually, our problem is two-sided. We have lots of burden and we have less recovery. So this is kind of the big picture in the world now, and this can be seen in all levels in our society, in everywhere. The consequences that already our small children in school, they're doing really bad. They're really tired, and the young people who go to work life, we get exhausted people, young people burnout people already before they start their work, and the employees, they tell the workers that when you have kind of a fluent start of work, I don't know how you say it in English, kind of a the flexible working hours. Yeah. So it doesn't really mean that you can come 3 o'clock to work.
Yes,
I'm serious.
Yeah, because it's then not beneficial for that person.
Yeah, and not everybody. Everybody else is leaving the work. Yeah. So how can you come to work?
Yeah. But its point is good. You're talking anyway about the agency, that everyone has the possibility to do something about it.
Yeah.
It's just like decide that this is your resting time, and just don't scroll the phone or just don't sit laying doing nothing or whatever. It's kind of like keep the agency that you take care of your sleeping, of your recovery time.
And that's part of the lifestyle. Last few days ago, I was giving a podcast we were talking about addictions.
Yeah.
Addictions, we have lots of addictions in the world, There are, alcohol, drugs, but then we have the new ones.
Yeah, smartphones,
social media, Netflix, and they can become also addictive. And where do you take the time?
Yeah, normally you take it from the resting time or recovery time.
Yeah.
Because I know you are in a hurry, but I just wanted still you to talk about you are doing also to sport and professional sport people and professional. You're doing this sleep coaching. So, what kind of promises the sleeping science it's giving to people performing and to their abilities to be the 100% of themselves in life, even to have a sport advantage? So it's it's like really you get something more out of it when you squeeze the lemon, because sport it's where actually you compete for centimeters, for seconds, for milliseconds. So how is that, and what is the science going forward to boost ourselves?
Yeah. Of course, I cannot promise any championships to anyone. If I work with hockey players, I cannot promise a Stanley Cup for them, but I can promise that the recovery won't be an obstacle. Because succeeding somewhere, it's a combination of many things. Many small things, they go together, but the big picture have to be good. And if the big picture is not good, of course, even though there's no chance for the small things to go together, there's zero. Once again, succeeding in sports is not about luck. It's how you put things together. So I used to be a pro athlete myself, and you may easily think that you always get bad luck because the opponent won.
Yeah.
So if you go that way your whole career, then you can look in the mirror that is it like that, or like you said, it's the small things, of course, seconds, milliseconds, or centimeters, but
the margins are so
margins. But is it luck? No. Sometimes, of course, you have to have a little bit luck, but not in a big picture, So, first of all, with the athletes, the biggest thing is for athletes to understand their life as a whole. If you're a pro athlete, it's 24 hours. And I still get so surprised that even in a very high level, top level, they understand the words.
Yeah, but not the concept.
Yeah, not the concept, not the acts.
Yeah.
And many times of the athletes, because the timing can be a challenge. Many times the hours of the competitions are, let's say, challenging.
Yeah.
Late in the evening because of television stuff like that, and they have to train. So that's a job. Like if you are doing a shift work, if you are a doctor who does operating in the middle of the night because of the emergency, it's a work. You have to do it. Or you travel. But then you have to understand that if that's a little bit challenging, you have to understand that there's always a little bit weight on your burden. It's existing there already, because if you always have competition very late, you have to understand that it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal, and you have to understand that you have to place extra weight in your burden, in your mind, in a burden. So now we come to that, what can you do? And this comes as a surprise for many athletes, that most of the time the other burden and the biggest burden, it doesn't come from the sports. It comes from their life. And they have no idea about that, because they are human beings. Yeah. They have they have parents, some have children, they have partners, things that they have their self, their life, their friends, and many times they don't understand that the biggest burden of their life because out of the sports, and the biggest chance kind of to compensate of the extra weight in their burden is the other life. So you have to understand, when you understand that, then you have a good connection. And many times the easiest way to promote your well-being and your performance is kind of go through what you have, your burden, your life, and then you think that is everything that you have, is it necessary? Or is there something that you can maybe a little bit lighten or even get rid of? Yeah. And once you do that, then of course it will shift the weight.
Yeah, the balance
will be changing, and then there's, of course, it's important also to try to improve your recovery. But then the need to improve it, absolutely to the top, maybe not there. It's easier to kind of reach the balance when you do it both ways. And that understanding I'm trying to tell to athletes that, you have to balance, because, they are young people, and easily they have normal life.
Yeah.
But you're 24, you're a pro athlete.
Yeah, you are super excited, but you might not think about the holistic and the whole lifestyle. Yeah. You are just like 100% concentrated and forgetting about the rest of your life.
And then of course I give them facts that, by telling that if you sleep better, what does it provide you? And there's not that much scientific data on sports and sleep, but what we have, well, it's convincing, you get those minor things. You are 8% more reactive, more alert, you are 5% more faster, and like you said, that when you win or lose, those are the margins.
And those are huge margins. Yeah.
And for myself, I never was that good athlete, so I never wanted to give any advantage to my opponents. So even if you feel like, my things are quite good level already, but do you want to give this advantage to your opponent? I hope not, because I think rarely the athlete is that good. You can, or at least when you do pro sports, you do the sports because you want to win.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And it's easy maybe to measure in the sport this 5%, 8%, but it's actually the same in our life. So it's difficult to say I lived an 8% better day than yesterday, but it is the same.
It is.
It's applying the same kind of method and the same, not really measurable in percentages, but you do improve your life taking care of your sleep and your lifestyle completely, and that's how you achieve the well-being.
And the funniest thing is that, to realize that, I don't sleep because of my sleep. I don't spend hours in the bed by counting them. I spend hours in the bed because I achieve something. I get benefit from that. I'm more energetic, I'm better mood. I'm better present here, and that's what I get. That's what I aim for my sleep. So, and that's why I find so funny that people are always calculating that why you spend. I never calculate. I aim for something else, and once you improve the sleep, the subjective feeling that when you start working, like a sensitive sleeper, who will never be a good sleeper. We always have little problems with sleep, and I always go through that. I always tell them that don't give away your heritage. When I tell you, I'm not meaning bad, but I'm telling you that you're a sensitive sleeper now, and you will be also in future sensitive sleeper. But are you meant to sleep bad? No.
Yeah.
But now you have to understand that when you improve your sleep even a little bit, you might have a feeling that my sleep isn't that much improved. But how can you estimate the quality of the sleep because you are unconscious?
Yeah.
So then, like this was my patient a while ago. He said that it hasn't improved at all. But then I had noticed that the first time we met, he told that he likes to nap every day.
Yeah.
So I said, how about napping? Well, he said, I haven't napped for 4 weeks. I said, you see?
Yeah.
And then he was, wow, I haven't really realized. So always, when you start improving your sleep, it's also important not to only measure the sleep, but also most likely the consequences.
Yeah.
And we are all different. For you, probably the values of your life may be different from mine.
Yeah.
But with sleep, it's easy to say whatever is your value, what you feel important for your life. With better sleep, you will gain it because sleep impacts everything.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
Yeah. Superpower. Yeah.
Thank you, Henri. I think it was enlightening, and really interesting talk. I'm really happy that you came and you talked about this stuff. Unfortunately, your book is only in Finnish, but
I can reveal you. I have now an agency and representing me, and we're trying to kind of screen that if we could have it, translated in
English.
in other markets, and of course it will come in English in Finland too. But let's keep the thumbs up because it was kind of one of the aims for the new book that also to present the ideas in other language than Finnish. But it's.
And if you are so few, it's good that you can spread and you have this good understanding of our Nordic countries. So you have different insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have
My
a good
pleasure.
sleep. Should we say no?
Yeah.
Have a good day so you can have a good sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same to you.
Bye.
Bye.